I have with me Bob McFarlane, who has a personal vendetta against a particular fish called the carp, which is spreading up into the Murray-Darling Basin and is creating all sorts of problems. Now, Bob, why do you hate the carp so much?
Well, literally, Gary, they're the vandals of our beautiful inland river systems. They've got no respect for land, they've got no respect for water, they've got no respect for their fellow fish, and they are a very, very violent and very, very bad fish to have in our system.
And they aren't native fish. No. Tell me the story about how they came to be.
They're an Asiatic fish, but they came out of Europe. Saprinus carpio is their Latin terminology, and they came into Australia through a landholder apparently down near Ballura in Gippsland, and he bought them out and put them into his irrigation channels to get rid of the weeds in his channels. Mm. Unfortunately, that gentleman, instead of knocking the excess carp on the head, he actually took the surplus carp, which were prolific because they breed like rabbits, and he took them down and released them in the Goulburn River. And I think that was in the later 1970s, and then when they really got into the Lachlan River was when the Murrumbidgee and the Lachlan flooded in 73, 74, and I just noticed a huge difference in our river, a huge difference in water quality, huge difference in plant life, huge difference in bird life, huge difference in big river red gums falling into the river, not naturally, and yeah, it was just devastation from day one.
Now, in order to sort of get over this, we saw the development of a company called Charlie Carp. Now, what does Charlie Carp actually do?
Well, it was a company I formed with the help of a lot of very fine practical business people mainly. It actually turns the feral fish into something worthwhile, and we use it as a Charlie Carp fertiliser. We did start off as stock feed first, and we had it making stock feed. But then the mad cow disease hit the fan, and we weren't allowed to feed animal products to
cattle.
Cattle, and also it was very expensive. We were flat out competing with oats and lucerne and all the rest of it. So, fortunately, as we had a professional carp processor, or fish processor, I suppose, come down from Bundaberg called Terry Goldsmith, and he actually he developed a recipe to make a fertiliser out of the European carp. We first started way over at Wentworth in southwestern New South Wales, but it was too far out and too hard to logistically manage, so we moved the whole camp over to Deniliquin in southwestern New South Wales, where we've got a very big plant going now, and we've got a board of directors of about 5 of us on it, and a number of us went out and raised money. We raised 4 of us raised $250,000 in about 6 weeks. When we went out to the public to tell them that we were going to do something about carp, people just literally threw money at us, and it was really quite embarrassing.
Now, the sudden spread of carp is due largely to their breeding habit. Did I read that a female carp fish would have something along about 1 million eggs?
Yeah, that's true, Gary. A female carp will have 1 million eggs, but worse than that, she'll have it twice a year. So that's 2 million eggs that one female can produce. And then with the predation of and the proliferation of pelicans and cormorants or shags, and also their ability to actually devour fingerlings, they actually will devour 90 or 20, they'll only 20% of those 2 million eggs will survive on one female carp, but that's still 200,000 fingerlings for every carp. Now, if you take the native fish, they only have about 60,000 eggs a year, of which only 10% survive, so that's only 6,000 eggs. Yep. So the problem they have is that they are far greater producers and reproducers than our native fish.
Right, and this Charlie Carp fertiliser, it is becoming quite renowned for all the properties it has, and it can be used on virtually any plant.
Yes, that's right, Gary. Because it's been made by nature, literally the fish has been made by nature, and it's made up of a whole lot of trace elements besides a lot of your soils that we're using that have been used for both in gardens and in commercial fields like growing crops, and even your golf courses and your parks and gardens, the botanical gardens, are all lacking because a lot of it's taken out of them and not a lot's been put back, and we've been mainly putting NPK back, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, especially in the commercial world. But because carp's been made by nature, we're putting a lot of molybdenum, zinc, iron, calcium, boron, selenium, copper, you name it. A lot of those trace elements are going back in, and that's making not only the plants healthier, but it's also making your soils healthier. And you bring your microbes back in. I've got examples, and I can take out the hay irrigation area where a bloke named Bill Parr, he's actually put it on his lucerne. We've got earthworms now coming out 3 and 4 inches long. We've got all the macrobes and microbes coming back. The lucerne is just unbelievably growing beautifully. The soils aren't clay anymore. You can dig down with a shovel instead of a crowbar or pick, and the response is just quite astounding.
With how can people help Charlie Carp along? I presume by buying Charlie Carp products, but is there any other way people can help?
Yes, just do what I'm doing and to walk the talk. I love taking talks, and I've just been to the Cowra Garden Club. They're wonderful supporters. They're the second time I've been to them, and Heather Kiley is the chairman, and I'm personal friends with Norm and Chris Palazzi, and we went there the other night. There would have been 50 odd people at the evening. And yes, we just got to walk the talk, and I think what we've got to do is make sure that the people in the community are aware of the devastation these fish are causing. We go onto the website of www.charliecarp.com. We've got a wonderful video done by Jason Hodges, who's a really fine fellow and well known, well respected, very good gardener. He's got a testimonial or statement there made about what he believes Charlie Carp. He's been a great supporter, a very powerful man in the gardening world, and we're very, very fortunate to have him on board. Having said that, I don't think we can leave it all up to Jason Hodges. We ourselves, the community, we've also got to get out there and walk the talk, and we've got to make everyone aware that these fish underwater and out of sight are devastating. And this is a war we're playing, and it's a war that you don't need guns, you don't need to be in the army, you don't have to leave the country. You just have to support us visually, physically, and let us know where there is great stands of carp that we could probably come and extract them. We've got professional fishermen, but we want to know where they are so we can remove them. We can't muck around with them because fish is a very deteriorating fish health-wise once he's taken out of the water. So we've got to get him into an ice box pretty quick, and that's the sort of thing. But number one is to get people to promote to use it. Bunnings are been a great supporter of us. They really help us in our sales. They're a big organisation. They've got big outlets, and anywhere there's Bunnings, you find Charlie Carp, and they've been a great supporter of us. I'd like to meet up with the Bunnings people to sort of come on board with us in a more environmental way, and I'm going to do that in the near future. I want to walk the talk. I want to be seen to be, and excuse the term, but I want to be seen as a used carp salesman.
Now, Bob, you're going to be the carp's worst enemy.
Yeah, certainly am, Gary. I'm not going to relent on it. I and 4 others created this little company back in 1995. We've been going 20 years, and we've got some very wonderful people involved. One of the directors, Harold Clapton, probably I wouldn't have a clue how much money Harold's raised for this group, and without him I don't think we'd be in existence, but we still are, and we're going to go ahead, and we're going to get this thing under control. And why say under control? We'll never wipe them out, but we'll get them down to a manageable level, I think, where the native fish can breed up, and by us extracting carp out of the system in big volumes, people say, oh, why don't you just eat them? We'll never eat them enough to keep them out. So, but where I'd like government to come on board, especially federal and state government, with some grants to help us build fish traps, and there's a very brilliant man called John Williams. He actually devised a trap that separates the carp from the native fish and only catches carp. Now I think those traps should be put in nearly every Burrendong Dam, Wanglet Dam, right along the Murray there. There's 3 there already. They cost a lot of money, but we need to have them in place. But we, a small little company like us, hasn't got a lot of financial resources behind us, and we would really appreciate if some governments could give us some either a dollar for dollar grant subsidy, or even put these fish traps in for us, and then by us removing the carp, the environment will improve. I think it's a bit unfair that a company like Charlie Carp should be the only ones doing anything about these carp, because everyone will benefit by the removal of the carp. The country towns will benefit, our plant life will benefit, our native fish will benefit, the commercial, the recreational fishermen will benefit, your rivers will benefit, the river red gums will benefit. We've got approximately 100,000 tonnes of river red gum that should never been in the Lachlan River, and it's in the Lachlan River at the moment because it's been undermined by the carp and dropped in there. That's between Bullyville and Oxley. I've had discussions with the fisheries. New South Wales fisheries have got this feeling that any tree that's in a river is fish habitat and can't be removed. And that's another message I really want to get out there. These trees should never be in the Lachlan River. They should never be in the Murrumbidgee River. They should never be in the Murray. They should be along the rivers.
Along the rivers, yep.
Not in the rivers.
Okay, well thank you for sharing that with us, and we wish you luck in your endeavour to cart the carp off.
I appreciate it, Gary, and only very grateful that you've given me a call and asked me to come along today to give this interview, because I want to do more of it. I want to walk the talk, and I want more supporters. I can't do this on my own, and I know I've got a great band of directors and shareholders, but we need help. We do need help out there, physically, financially and everywhere else. But the biggest help we can be is use Charlie Carp.